Call into any church or cathedral and you will see depictions of Jesus on the cross, and above his head the letters INRI. You already know that these letters represent the abbreviations for the Latin phrase Iesu Nazarein Rex Judaeorum, which means Jesus the Nasorian, King of the Jews. Now, did you know that the original inscription was in 3 languages? Well, John's Gospel, chapter 19, verses 19 to 20, tells us it was, and that apart from Latin, the other languages were Greek and Hebrew. The reason for this was so that everybody who was likely to be in the area would be able to read it. We also know from Roman historians that every condemned man was given a titulus, which was a wooden plaque inscribed with his crime. When he was nailed to the cross, the titulus would be nailed on as well, to tell the public who he was and what his crime had been. It would serve as a warning to the general public not to commit the same crime. The 2 men executed along with Jesus would each have had their own titulus, and we are told they were thieves, so the Gospel writers must have seen their plaques. The Sanhedrin of the temple wanted Jesus removed, but since Judea was under Roman rule, they did not have the power to execute him. They needed to condemn him before the Roman procurator, the man we know as Pontius Pilate. Throughout the Gospels, Jesus is given many names, such as Son of Man and Son of God. Son of God upset the Sanhedrin, but would mean nothing to the Romans. King of the Jews, though, was another matter altogether. The highest person in the Roman Empire was the emperor, and if there was one thing the Romans didn't want in their empire, it was a king. The Romans disliked the concept of kingship, so by calling Jesus the King of the Jews, the Sanhedrin was putting him in direct conflict with the emperor, Tiberius Caesar. Pontius Pilate was responsible for governing Judea, but also had to keep peace with his master in Rome. The Sanhedrin brought Jesus before Pilate with the claim that he called himself the King of the Jews. So why did Pilate use this title on the titulus? Pilate tried Jesus, and on 3 occasions found him to be innocent. This is recorded in John's Gospel, chapters 18 verse 38, 19 verse 4, and 19 verse 6. Eventually Pilate called for water and publicly washed his hands of the matter, as described in Matthew chapter 27, verse 24, placing the blame for the execution fairly and squarely on the shoulders of the accusers from the Sanhedrin. So why was the inscription on the titulus so shocking? This was Pilate's final word on the topic. The Latin and Greek inscriptions were simple statements in those languages, but if we look at the Hebrew version, we find something altogether different. I had to rely on a translator for this passage, but I understand the expression Jesus the Nasorian, King of the Jews, would become in Roman script, something like Yeshua HaNazarei wa Melech HaYehudim, which, if abbreviated in the same way as the Latin script to just the first letters, becomes YHWH, YWH, Yahweh, the unspoken name of God. Pilate had not only placed the blame on the Sanhedrin, but had insulted them by desecrating the name of their God. Only the high priest was allowed to say this name, not a pagan Roman. The chief priest of the Jewish temple was horrified to see the Tetragrammaton exposed in this way, and begged Pilate to change the text as we read in John chapter 19 verse 21, but Pilate refused with a finalistic, "What I have written, I have written." This is a part of the Easter story which mystified me as a child. The Sanhedrin had achieved their aim, so what difference did an inscription make? Now I understand the reverence the Jewish people felt for their God and the secrecy surrounding his name. Pilate was coerced into killing an innocent man, but turned the tables on the Sanhedrin in his endgame. I hope you found this video interesting and enlightening. I know that I did while doing my research for it. Please give me a like and subscribe for more of the same videos.